Hey everyone, welcome to GrayManPrepping presenting Thursday Night Talk, event-based stuff. And I got an echo in here on my side, but tonight's event is After Yellowstone Erupts. What are your plans now? So let's go over here and meet everybody. Hey Bruce, hey Steve. And I just figured out what my echo was. It was on another tab I had open. All righty. So for those of you who don't know Steve is probably the most unique gut prepper I've ever met. Former Marine. Oh, sorry. Non-currently active duty Marine. There's no such thing as a former Marine. And a former federal corrections officer. And great guy. He's does a lot of training stuff. If you haven't checked out his channel, Corsair Trainers, check it out. He did a 6-part tabletop on this, went into a lot more depth than what we're going to go tonight. So this is kind of like a teaser and a brain thinker extension of what he did before, and also to get you guys to go back and check out his tabletop. And of course, most of you should know Bruce from Backwoods Law, a Army MP, and then firefighter, emergency operations centers person, and is and I froze after military life. All right, so I want to go through some ground truths here. That's something emergency planners talk about before we get into this hash here. So, but before I do that, I want to say hi to everybody and see what we got here. So, first one in here was Walt Rogers, then CR, Laura at Hedgehog Homestead, Uncle Al at Diebold Fog 79, and everyone chatting. Kaylin Strain came in, and Carolyn Smith. Everyone's talking good. Bruce started talking to them there. And everyone's just talking back and forth. I don't see too many other people coming. King Poopah's here. Gardner Josh. Shady Hill Homestead. Revolver on the Road. White Family Farm. Good. Everyone's talking to each other. Gunslinger Outdoors. How you doing, brother? Beautiful Harvest Abbey. Vitra. Good. More people coming in. I'm scrolling down as fast as I can. It's still good. Everyone's talking. Jay's here. Tibor's here. And we're caught up. All right. So some of the ground truth stuff I want to talk about. Let's take this over this way here. All right. This is one of the maps out there showing what is expected from a Yellowstone eruption. However, what they're showing here expected doesn't hold up to what history has shown what has happened before. And we'll get into that here. But so this is one of the ones they're saying, it goes off. This is going to be how it's going to hit. It's going to affect everybody. And it's going to go out this way here. And the problem is, all right, first of all, the bright yellow this is millimeters. So that's 1 to 3 millimeters of ash. The next zone in has 3 to 10 millimeters. Still about maybe the maximum about half an inch. The orange zone there is 10 to 30 millimeters, which is a little under an inch to just a hair over an inch. And it goes up. Now you see how this is almost a circle and it's going out. Yeah, it's leaning the one way a little bit more, but it's almost going out evenly. Well, we'll take a look at something here and then we'll talk about it. All right, first this is the path of the Yellowstone caldera over the millions of years. Here it is down here, and this is the path it makes as the plume moves along. And each one of these has its own name, Twin Falls, all the other ones, and then Humboldt and down here. But I don't want that one. Oh, there we go. Backing it off, there's some others here on it, but you can see how there's multiple. Here they've picked up multiple times where it has erupted as it's moved up to its current location here. And the bottom here shows how the Pacific Plate pushes under. It's called a subduction. The Cascadia subduction zone is the big one pushing under and pushes the plume across farther and farther away from the coast. Well, these are the major ones everyone talks about. These are the ash fields out there. The Mesa Falls ash bed is definitely Yellowstone. And they've had for the past number of years attributed the Huckleberry Ridge ash zone and the Lava Creek ash bed to Yellowstone. However, now they're beginning to think that, like the Bishop ash bed, it's actually the Long Valley caldera in California, which is huge compared to Yellowstone. Because that fits more like the pattern of an explosion going out. They know that the Bishop ash bed definitely is Long Valley. Now they're fighting amongst themselves, the geologists. Well, no, see, why would it come at the Yellowstone view in the middle and go this way? It kind of goes out like a triangle away from you, not at the base of the triangle coming to a point as it got farther away from you. So some of them are pushing for the fact that these other two are there. But still, if you look at it, even if all these other two are Yellowstone, how far northwest of it? Not very far. The ash field is all the way the wind's blowing it. And that's one thing people don't realize. If you look behind me, it blows up, not straight flat out. They may throw rocks and stuff out, but the smoke and steam and ash coming out is like a locomotive. It puffs straight out, and then the wind catches it and blows it. So now they're attributing these other two to Long Valley. Some of them are. And that's the Long Valley caldera there at the north end of Death Valley, and shows how its ash flow went. And no, it's not going to be this, is it, Steve?
No.
No. If it blew like this, and it was at nighttime, that'd be like a rocket engine pushing the Earth towards the sun. And if it was the daytime, it'd be pushing us away from the sun. That big of an explosion. Still a little overdone, but this is, that shows the wind pattern. It blows up and the wind carries it over the rest of the United States, then across the ocean and goes over to Europe. And I think that, yeah. So are you ready for this, folks? Let's get at it here. So, Steve, how many episodes was in your tabletop? 5 or 6?
I don't remember. I think it was 6.
I think it was 6. It was a good number there. To me, I don't think we're going to have to, if we do, all right, you got to think of a super volcano like a champagne bottle. You shake it up and you pop the cork and it blows. It splashes everywhere and then it shoots up and finally it peters out. But Yellowstone is one of the things I was looking at says Yellowstone, the great American disaster, like it's going to be something that wipes us all out. What are your odds that you guys think of those, seeing wind patterns and stuff from what the other eruptions did, of it taking out, of Yellowstone taking out Washington State?
No,
any thoughts on it?
It blows the other direction. Washington State wouldn't have as big as an issue.
Yeah.
I realize you're trying to downplay the fact that you're screwed.
Oh, no.
Everybody in the middle is screwed.
Hey,
so this is one of my favorite scenarios, because the answer for all you guys is run to the West Coast. That's the only place. Other than that, you're done. I don't care how you try to say it or not say it, or make it a champagne bottle and act like it's going to blow over the top of you. Run your butt back to mama in California.
Yeah. Well, let me throw this back up again. One thing I just skipped over here was Mount St. Helens, which is they actually have hard data and video data of that one. And that's how it blew.
Right. But we even had ash down here when that happened. Yeah, when Mount St. Helens went, and I was living north of here actually, and we had ash fall down. We didn't know what it was. There was white stuff falling out of the sky.
But that's
snow. Of course, being good Californians, we were all freaking out. And then all the grown folks were like, no, that's ash from the volcano.
Yeah. But this is where the ash field wound up. Yeah, there was other ash going around. Yeah, because on this map here, I'm right there. So either I'm going to survive totally, or I don't have to worry about it.
No, it's
all over.
Ash. Go to some of those pictures I sent you, because when you're talking about 3 milliliters or whatever you call it, millimeters, of ash, dude, no cars run, no planes fly, no trains go nowhere.
All right, which picture you want
I realized, Gil, that this is an eye-opener for you, and hence the reason I did the scenario with Yellowstone. Everybody that thinks they're safe, that they're living in some glorious utopia in the middle of the Americas, is done if Yellowstone goes.
Yeah. Which one do you want me to show up first?
Oh, I don't remember which ones I sent you.
You sent me the one with the red circle and the different cities on it.
Hold on, let me see if I can change my screen. I got them right here. Hold on.
Then you should.
Hold on. Let me see if that works. Do the one with the cities in the big circle.
All right, there we go. Let me make that bigger. Yeah.
So on a moderate to large eruption, those places are all done. Just done. Sorry. Buried in ash, on fire, all that other good stuff, because the ash coming down
is hot.
Isn't that, cold, wet stuff you guys are used to. The stuff projected to go to those places is hot and will cause fires, hence the little fire symbol. Mm-hmm. And you're just done. So I know, Gil, you're going to try to downplay it and insist moving there was the best thing you ever did in your life, but you should have stayed.
No, I wanted to go to the other side of the state over by Oregon. A little bit farther away. Hey, and Red Scout, Bushcraft and Survival, how you doing? Hey, Digs Outdoors. All right, which one do you want to see next?
Throw up the week one, if it's labeled the same as when I did it.
Week one, okay.
There you go. Okay, so for the scenario I did, I just went with the information that I could find. That would be after 1 week, and then the scale similar to what Gil was saying. So all those areas would have ash, yellow being the least, but I believe that was 1 to 3 millimeters, which would, after a little bit, clog up all your engines, stop all the aircraft, stop everything else. And of course, the darker the color, the worse it is for you.
Yeah.
And then go to the week 8 one.
Week 8.
And then for you guys to think that you would get away from it, it goes over and gets everybody else. But if Gil goes over to the left coast, look at the left coast, look at it. Yes, it's a beautiful place. So the long-term thing would be the West Coast clears up first, and then everything else is still messed up for several months.
Yeah.
So don't worry, Gil. When you make it here, I'll let you work my fields or something, okay?
Well, if I head back to California, it's going to be right about where the A is here in San Francisco. That's Contra Costa County. But yeah, you see, even this whoever did this one, you notice on the one side here where the wind's coming from, it's not spreading like it is the other way.
Right.
But Bruce, you said you're still good.
Yep.
So you're around about
Knoxville.
Knoxville. Okay, so you're getting about 3/4 of an inch of ash.
That's fine. Doesn't make any difference to me. I ain't got to go.
You're not just not going to drive anywhere.
Yeah. That's why I got a basement in this house.
So, and then I mean, going along with that, I go into it in those videos. The man, there is a special name for it, and I can't think about it. I can't think of it right now. But when the ash and water mixes, then it even screws up everything more. It plugs up drains everywhere.
Yeah.
It one thing I remember reading that I thought was like, man, I never thought about that. It'd get on your windshield, and you turn your windshield wipers on, and it just scratch your glass so you can't even see out the dang thing.
Yeah, because the ash is more of a pumice stone, not like a firewood ash. A lot of the ash it's really coarse and abrasive, and that's why it'll unlike fire trucks and Forest Service trucks that drive through the wildfires and stuff, and it doesn't affect their motors that much. This stuff gets in there and it just scars up the engine and everything else, and it'll shred the air filter because it's sharp. Tibor, yeah, if Yellowstone sets off the New Madrid fault, then yeah, everybody on the East Coast is screwed. But you had one more in here. This one. See, I want to be outside the instant kill zone over here on this side here called Adams County. That's where I wanted to move to, but my wife wanted to be over here next to my daughter.
So you're just dead.
I'm dead.
And then the part that I thought was important about that is see the hot ash zone.
Yeah.
All of that would have wildfires. So yeah, I mean, and then given the time of year I did it, I believe it was winter. So you're like, oh yeah, the snow. Okay, yeah, there'd still be hot ash. Things would still catch on fire. Stuff would still happen, right?
Yeah.
So think of it as if it happened, I don't know, summer, spring, right? All of that's going to get set on fire.
Yeah.
And I'll be sitting down there by the little bump down there by LA, laughing at all you guys that laugh about California wildfires.
Yeah.
I'll still be sitting here laughing.
Yeah. Now, one of the things, other parts here to throw in here is, I didn't bring it up because I haven't been able to research it that much, but there's several papers out there talking about if Yellowstone goes, just across the border in Mexico is some other seismic system, and some are saying, well, if that goes at a certain amount, it might trigger this system down here. And if it triggers the system down in Mexico, there are several volcanoes there that might pop their corks as well. Domino effect. But like I said, I haven't researched that other than what I just read on it today. And I need to do a lot more research before I talk about that in depth. But there is, as someone's saying, there is a possibility of a domino effect, because if Yellowstone blows and all that stuff comes up and out, all of a sudden now there's a vacant, it blows out and stops and starts to cool for a second. It drops back down in. And that causes, what was it called? Subtonic. Basically under the plates and stuff causes the magma to go and send shockwaves across. So then to the west here, Mount Shasta, Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens and stuff all may get a surge under them, and they may just go, or they may go boom, or they may do nothing at all. But there's a possibility those can do.
And then Tibor brought up a good point there. Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. The major problem people would have, regardless of the hot ash, all that other good stuff, you just look at any of the mapping for it, and the U.S. is cut in half. So you guys there would be no way to go. Like if you were stuck on the East Coast, you're not making it back to the West Coast until things settle out or whatever.
Or taking a boat around South America.
Yeah, something like that. Go down to the Panama Canal or go down to Mexico and run across or something. I don't know. But yeah, it was, and like the main reason I did it is because, and I'm going to be kind of a a-hole. A lot of people sitting in certain parts of the U.S., they're like, oh, well, none of this could ever happen. Well, yeah, this could happen just as much as the big one out here in California can happen.
Yeah,
just
because
the same as the Madrid fault can go.
Yeah, they've all have happened before. That's how come we know about them and they're talking about them.
Right.
It's not something new.
So I think too many people get too comfortable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they don't realize, I mean, there are legitimate threats out there. Yeah. And then when I did those videos, I tried to keep it to you and your family. You know what I mean? Not the big picture thing, just what you would do. Actually, I caught a bunch of grief for some of those videos because I was just sitting at home. I grabbed the kids and got home and sat at home.
Yeah, because you're in that area down there.
Yeah, and then I mean, I said I would try to be cool with my neighbors and stuff, and people were like, "What? Get your chest plate, run up and down the street like a crazy person." You know, like, that ain't reality, man.
No, I mean, and also looking at this one here, you know, one of the places, you know, everyone kind of tends to forget about is the New England states. While they're not going to get measurable ash buildup,
oh, they will.
They'll get some ash, as will Florida and everybody else, but it's not like in any of these other pictures here.
Oh, and that was one of the things about me doing it for winter was when ash mixes with snow, it makes it even worse.
Yeah, and actually, depending on the type ash, some of the ashes from the volcanic expulsions have a chemical makeup similar to Portland cement.
Yeah.
So when they mix up and they get wet and stuff, and also because the water's in with it now, it's actually has a chemical reaction and heats up again, and then it sets up hard as a hard rock.
Some of the stuff I was reading said that normal roofs that could handle snow on them, you know, if they're built a certain way,
yeah,
they wouldn't, depending on, I don't remember the exact cutoff on the millimeters, but there would be too much weight, and then, you know, everything would come caving in on folks.
Yeah, because, you know, snow is, snow is wet and heavy, but it's still fluff. Volcanic ash is like pouring sand up on there. And you figure a 6-inch thick, 4-inch bag of sand, you know, that is 2 feet by 18 inches. That's 40 pounds right there. You start laying 40-pound bags up on your roof. What's going to happen?
Hey, Tasha has a question there.
Tasha,
all that would depend on the wind, what time of year it is, and which way the wind's blowing. So most of the stuff that I saw was 3 days to a week was the middle average there. There was other folks, you know, if this wind condition and that wind condition, then it would be less. If there was hurricanes hitting the East Coast, it would be, you know, it'd push some of it back. And then there was a whole thing that I left out about the ash mixing with the hurricane and the upper atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. I left all that out of the videos I did, but it would get even worse if there was a hurricane along the East Coast because it would suck the ash in, a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw something over here. So this is the jet stream. And let me go ahead and drop that comment down. Man, it flew by. Everybody's talking stuff, acid rain. All right. So this is going to be a 10-day change. Come on, let's go. In the jet stream. And let me see if I can move this up just so you can see the dates rolling by here. This is what's projected coming now. As it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You see how the jet stream is changing and pushing. That's the high jet stream. it moves faster than the wind does down here lower on the ground. So as you can see, it's starts out mainly east to west. I mean, west to east, and then it dips down, and it goes into washing machine weather there. So that's the thing, is that whatever, the jet stream can really just screw everything up. And if the wind is blowing, like right now, I would say 80 to 90% of the time, the wind is blowing from the corner of Nevada, Utah, and Idaho right here where my cursor is, towards Yellowstone. That's the pattern here, because I live right in between here. And the wind, just about, I'd say 80% of the time, is blowing that direction. Now, sometimes we'll get in the day, it'll suddenly reverse direction, and it's blowing exactly the opposite. Other times it's blowing a little straight to the east, and sometimes it blows back to the west. It all depends what the wind pattern is, which way the wind is going to go. Because what everyone tends to forget is that volcanic ash here is going up, and it's catching the wind. And they refer to it as an ash cloud. Well, what does the wind do to clouds? It blows them around. And so whichever way the wind's blowing, that's the way the ash is going to start flowing. So pull down over here, boom.
Hey, do you have the picture showing where the hot ash would flow? Because Wide Family Farm was asking, and I'm not sure where she's at.
Okay, shoot. I just dropped. Let me pull it. Let me reload that one again.
What they're talking about is pyroclastic cloud.
Well, where's the other one here? Come on, open up. What happened?
Oh, no big deal if you don't.
There we go. No, I just
Courtney,
had to.
You're just going to die, Courtney. Run to Southern California.
Come on, open that. Now it's not wanting to.
No,
there we go. There it is. There's the hot ash zone. Hot ash zone stops shy of Illinois. But it takes out Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, part of I'm having a so it was not going to make it over to the hot ash isn't going to make it over to Ohio, Courtney.
So then, I mean, even after all that, if you look at the area where all that's at, food production is going to suck for years after that.
Oh, yeah, it's going to kill the breadbasket.
I mean, not just mentioning transportation, because how many highways go through those areas that would be affected? You'd have to run everything down through Texas, or even more across the border, even.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, there's got a lot of the shipping containers are going to be going from Florida, Georgia, South Carolina to Panama to California, and back and forth from California, taking the stuff from California, Southern California over there.
Right. So, I mean, that would be the long-term effects. Again, it's been a while since I did the video, so I don't remember all the details. But that would be pretty much the end of the U.S. as we know it for 5-10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I know up around Mount St. Helens, they were, that whole area was suffering massive economic loss until they got an influx of money and people trying to invest in there for rebuilding, trying to get in on a possible cash cow. That's a small area compared to dozens and dozens of states.
Hey there, Uncle Al. The gases wouldn't have a major effect outside of the immediate area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there would be, 20, 30 miles around it that they could have an effect. But as far as the gases going all across the nation or something, that just wouldn't happen.
The only other type of gases to worry about is, quote, greenhouse gases, and, how that's going to affect. That's one of the things is, though, looking back historically, Krakatoa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that caused for, I think it was a year and a half, caused, global cooling, not warming. And so,
Hey, Tasha, if you're on the East Coast, you're okay. You'll be all right.
just make sure you have plenty of dust masks.
Yeah, it'll stay ashy over there longer than here.
Yeah, the what it's called volcanic ultrapneumonoscopic coniacilia. That's a stupid word they made us learn when I was going through school for EMS. And what that is that's the cancer that's caused by the volcanic ash.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the silica gets into your lungs and it basically blocks them up. It causes black lung like a coal miner would get.
Yeah. And one of the things is, with all this information now, folks, now comes the part where we're coming to you in the side chat. All right, you just heard it's the eruption's going on. What's the first thing you're going to be doing? You heard Yellowstone has erupted. What's the first thing you're going to do? Me, first thing I'm going to do, if I'm still alive to hear it, okay, it's a small one. It's a real small one. It's a Mount St. Helens size, and then I'm okay. But if it's like Yellowstone's, and that's all I hear, I'm gone. I'm toast.
Yeah, and then Digs Outdoors got a good one there too about, another lasting impact. All that dust, for lack of a better way of saying it, in the upper atmosphere, well, that's just going to screw up the whole temperature of the planet anyway. And it has way more effects, or, goes deeper than just what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
There would be long-term repercussions, just the same way Backwoods was saying. A bunch of people are going to get sick from being in the ash. A bunch of people ain't going to have nothing to eat. There's going to be all kinds of craziness if it would even go. And when I did it at a moderate eruption. So a moderate or the big one. And there's just a whole lot that would happen.
Yeah, Gunslinger, you're right. I won't have to worry about my internet anymore.
Yeah, it won't be freezing up. It'll just be permanently off.
Yeah. Now, all right. So one of the things I wanted to throw out here, all right, it could be a froze again.
Freeze?
Yeah. It's an ice volcano, folks. All right. It could be, boom. That's it. I mean, that's the size of it. And it's probably not going to affect majorly, problems any farther than the far side of Wyoming. And down south, it might make it to me, but most likely because the wind blows, it's going to take the southern half of Montana over to Wyoming. The upper half of Wyoming. That's what's going to be affected. But then if it's big, and you start going up, it's like earthquakes. It gets bigger, and it's not just doubling in size. It has all these other factors of ramification with it that just, spreads it out. It's not just in that area. It now starts spreading wider. So every time it goes wider, you're covering not just this doubling the size width-wise. It's the volume and everything else going up and out, and it's going to travel farther at the end. So, like if it's the big one, like, Steve had on that one, this is the kill zone. Everybody here is dead. If it's that big, you can just about call this a definite Milwaukee event that's going to take 20 plus years to recover from, at least, for the United States. And the problem is, like someone mentioned there, the power grid. What does this ash do to power lines and transformers? And like Steve did on his, he did his in late October. You're going to have this ash piling up on top of transformers. And what does late October usually bring with it? Rain. And if you have this ash on top of transformers, all these transformers are now going to be shorting out. And it's not just like one transformer shorting out and the system can handle it and work around it. You have hundreds of transformers shorting out, all of a sudden the grid can't handle it, and it's going to be a massive domino effect just rolling across the United States, just tearing the whole system apart.
Well, yeah, and as soon as it started tearing apart up there by Idaho, Montana, and everything, that's going to cause a cascade failure all the way around the United States. So nobody's going to have power at all because it's all interconnected except for Texas. Everything else is all interconnected. If that large of an area goes down, it's going to cause a cascade failure all the way over to the East Coast, all the way down it, all the way over to California. So nobody's going to have power at all.
Steve, you got a generator?
Yep.
Okay.
I got two. I got a regular one and a solar one.
Cool.
Oh,
all right.
Tasha's asking if a Berkeley would filter the water with the volcanic ash. No, it would clog up the filter.
Yeah.
So you may get a dribble, but after that, it clogs up the filters.
Yeah. About the only thing that might work would be one of those ceramic dome ones. It'll clog up, but then you can wash the dome off because it has like a 0.5 to 0.2 micron opening on it. So yeah, it'll clear most of the ash off, but it's going to plug it off. You have to clean it off, do another, couple, cups of water through it and do it like that. But most of the ones, the Berkeys and the other have
not treat the water. You'd have to start trying to do it beforehand.
Yeah.
Running it through other things, blankets, even shit like that. Oops, sorry, stuff like that to get it to where your water filter would last longer. Does that make sense? Because eventually, just the dust in the air will clog your water filter. But if you can get out a whole bunch of it ahead of time and make your water filter last longer, cool. Yeah. Or you could just do like Courtney and be a drunk and don't drink water because that's what she just wrote. So, that works. If you got enough bottles of wine, you're good.
Yeah. But so your water is going to be a problem. Yes, absolutely. And Kaylin has it. Yeah, I was going to mention that, but there we go.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, pre-filtering your water, if you have to use a filter to get water, you always want to pre-filter it because you're only going to get the maximum amount that it says on the filter if you pre-filter it. Because if you have very dirty, very muddy water and you haven't filtered it through something, even just a bandana, it is going to clog the hell out of that filter very quickly. And you may get 100 gallons out of it, but you're not getting 3,500 gallons out of it. Whatever it's marked and says, you only get that much water if it's super clean, clear water.
Yeah, I never say anything, but I watch videos where guys are talking about filtering water and they never pre-filter it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you've done that never in your life. Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah. One of the interesting things is when you're talking about other things, clothes and blankets and stuff, probably your two best materials, according to me and stuff I've dealt with, good old-fashioned Levi denim or your painter cloth denim will handle a lot of stuff. Plus, once it starts caking up on it, you let it dry off and you beat it off, and then you can start filtering some more on it. And then you run it through another similar one. You run it through several of them before you get it to that expensive filter you're going to run it on. So Wide will be heading for the Jack Daniels distillery.
Don't worry, I got you covered. It's not that far from me. Use my husband's words.
Okay.
Socks. Before or after you
Red
wash
Scout's
them,
got a
Courtney?
funny one. I wonder if the ash is a good filter. Any other day it might be, but not that day.
Yeah. So thinking about it for your family, wherever you're at, if you're not in the immediate area around Yellowstone, immediate area being 150 miles any direction of it, all right, even if you've prepared for Yellowstone blowing, that's one of your events you're planning for. what are you going to be doing? You've said, all right, I got all these supplies. I got this. If now 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after it's gone up, it stopped belching a lot of smoke. It's just got a little one, looks like one of the volcanoes in Hawaii, just puff, 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 a little bit going on, not much at all. And most of the heavy ash has come down. The light stuff's going to be up there for years. But what are you going to be thinking about doing? What's your next plan? How long is your food supply going to last you? How long are all your medications going to last you? That's one thing I wanted to get to is the thing is, all right, yeah, you survived it. You survived the Yellowstone eruption. 2 weeks out. Now what are you going to do?
I'm going to set up tents for all you people running from Idaho to get here.
I guess he's expecting you relatively quick there, Gil.
Hey, if I can get out of here, yeah, if I'm still alive, yeah, I probably will be, heading, that direction, towards California. I'll be passing right through Sack of Tomatoes and heading towards Babylon by the Bay. Because that's where my wife is at right now. Of course, if we've sold that property, we may be coming down to see you, Steve. If we sell the Northern California property, we may be coming down there. Uncle Al's heading back to his ancestral homeland of Japan.
Yeah. Afterwards, it all depends really on what's survived. I mean, it depends on exactly where you are. If you're within that pyroclastic cloud, everything's going to be burned to the ground because, I mean, that's what, 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe, and it just washes out over the entire area, whatever the zone or region is that it's going to affect, and everything's going to be on the ground. There's not going to be anything left at all. So in that area, you're not going to do anything afterwards. Now, if you're further out where there's less and less ash fall, then it's possible that, hey, a lot of the infrastructure other than electricity and the plumbing and stuff is still going to be working because you're not going to have electricity because all the wires are going to be down, and you're not going to have that pumping water at the city facilities, so you're not going to have water in your house. That's where you're going to have to get creative, and, if it's raining and it's already after it's had the ash fallen down, then you could start collecting water outside in ponchos or plastic or whatever, and then bringing that in, filtering it, and doing the triple filter, and then you got a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Prep standing with Belinda. One of the things they did up there for Mount St. Helens, some of them were actually taking truck filters. It's a big canister filter, and the air comes in the top. They were putting what's called a dust bowl on top of it. It's how to explain it? Basically, it's about this tall, about that big around. So, and it's kind of U-shaped. I mean, it's like a bundt pan, and the air comes in and it spins it around. So all the particles go to the side and they don't go into down below. So they pull the heavy particles out. Then they had the big truck filters. And then from that, they ran a 4-inch flex pipe down to their car filter. So it was having two filters, two systems going before it got to the car filter. And that's what a lot of them are installing that, or they're just getting the one straight from Caterpillar or John Deere for the heavy equipment, which have basically the same type setup, and hooking that up. Yeah. All right. I wasn't even going to talk about that one, about what I have to fight through to get down to Steve. But, yeah. And the thing is, the pyroclastic flows coming down off a volcano for Yellowstone, the size of the caldera and stuff depending on how big that the eruption is. If it blows the entire caldera, yeah, that's the big massive killer. But if it just blows to like where one of the lake is on the North Shore, which they're talking about, because that's the one that's pushing, pushes the most over the last several years. That's going to be like the like one of the ones of Kilauea blowing off.
And just to throw this out there, if you're ever caught in something like that, and I mean, you're not in the middle of the volcano running at 401 miles an hour, like Biggs was saying, to stay out of the flow, and you start getting ash on your house and all that other good stuff, get you a mask, all that other good stuff. Get you, a gas mask if you got one of those fireman breather sets would even be better, and brush the stuff off your roof because it gets way too heavy and makes the roofs collapse. And if it's winter, then just know that I'm laughing at you while you're in the snow trying to do it.
I'm laughing right now because I'm used to having snow by this time of year, and I got none right now. I'm loving life.
Yeah. Someone up there said that. Diggs says he's up in Pennsylvania, and that's where you used to be.
Yep. I think all the stuff melted because it got up into the 50s today. So now they're in a mud pit.
Well, honestly, the only way I know that is because when I was in Guam, the volcanoes went off in the Philippines, and there was dudes over in the Philippines doing that to keep the roofs from caving in on buildings. There was actually one jarhead that saved a whole bunch of planes from getting crushed because it was starting to get on their hangars, and he jumped up there with the deck broom and just started knocking it all off. And then there was other people out in town doing that stuff too.
Yeah. But one of the things is that I want to get everybody thinking about, all right, you survived it. 2 weeks out, what are you going to be doing? 30 days out, what are you going to be doing? Have some sort of plan written out, flexible plan, because things change. Ideas of what you could be doing, what you need to be doing, because like I said, power's most likely going to be out wherever you're at, unless you're happen to be in an area that was able to shut down all the transfer stations and stuff, and then you got hydroelectric power there or wherever you're at. And what can you do to aid in the recovery of your area? Because you're not going to be aiding recovery of the United States. The only way you're going to do that is to get your area up and running. And so it's not going to, you don't want it to be every man for themselves. That's the, what do you want to call those the ones, Steve, with their wet dreams about, end of the world?
I have to watch my mouth on your channel, so I can't.
All right, this is GrayManPrepping. It's not monetized.
No, we're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's not going to be, you don't want to be out there with some of these guys, these clowns, these butt wet clowns, I got my plate carrier. I got 47 weapons on me and I'm running around. What are you doing? You're not helping the situation. You're not helping your neighbors. You're not building your community back. All right. There's a good answer. There's a good answer right there. Caroline. She's disabled, should be advising people, giving out information, teaching
That's people. What I was getting ready to say. I mean, there's a place for dudes that know how to utilize weapons and actually wear the gear properly and have a clue. And there's a place for somebody who's disabled, but they can make grilled cheese sandwiches. There's a place for everybody. And the guys that say there's not, or they want to limit themselves, it's because they're mentally masturbating. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get more rude about it, but
Yeah.
Tasha,
the point is that, you need to, actually if you have your written plan, you go, okay, this is what's happened. This is what we need to do. We need to get with Joe down the street and Bob over there and Dave back there. Because I know they got their heads on straight. I need to get with them. And we need, the three of us need to, or four of us need to start organizing others and get more people organized. have a plan to get the neighborhood organized. The more you can organize, the quicker your recovery is going to be.
Courtney, does that mean you're going to run around with your hands in the air waving?
Hey, Tasha, Backwoods is right, and it also matters what kind of mask you got.
Yeah.
So there's not an easy answer for that. It all depends on what you got and what's going on.
Yeah. The problem with those masks is it's just like in the car, the filter in the mask, and that's what's saving you from all the particulate matter, is going to clog up with all those little, very small, fine rocks. It's going to clog it up, and then you have to take that one off, put a new one on. So, having a couple hundred of them might be a good idea for that.
I like cheap. What Belinda said. Somebody's got to watch the kids while everybody's, shoveling ash.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Bama Backwoods is also right. I mean, you got guys out there doing security, and that's what I was talking about in my other security videos. If you guys got guys out there doing security, well, man, they got to run security. They can't rerunning a tractor and security. So somebody's got to be, making grilled cheese sandwiches. I don't know. I guess I want a grilled cheese sandwich tonight. I don't know. I'm stuck on it.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to get at here is like Steve and Bruce are saying, it's a community. First, once you have your family safe, then you need to work with your neighbors to save the community. And you got to, there are going to be those one of Steve's things, butt wipes out there that are trying to take advantage of it and think, oh, good, no more law, I can do whatever I want. Well, right now, all right, we're a community. We're forming new laws. You don't get to do whatever you want, and that's what's going to be happening. Probably in a lot of the areas is there's going to be certain, the communities coming together and forming their own committee to pass certain regulations and rules that need to be enforced now. Like we don't need to worry about the seatbelt law, but we need to worry about whatever. You cannot allowed to just break into someone's home and take whatever you want. So there are certain laws that are going to come to the forefront, and others are going to be like, okay, this was a ridiculous one to begin with. We're not going to concentrate on that. We're going to concentrate on public safety. Would CR say? So that roof shovel for the winter snow might help here. Yeah. And if you are in an area where you get snow on your roof, I know I invested in one here. They have those telescoping little plow things. You go up there, you can drag the snow off if it's getting building up where you're going to get what's called an ice dam. And same thing works for the ash and stuff too. What would happen? What do you think have crowd? Oh, here we got a question from Diggs.
I was just typing it. From all the stuff I read, it depends where you're at and how much ash landed. But somebody said ash is good earlier. Yeah, not this level of ash. It kills it off.
Yeah.
So basically, like Gil was saying, the bread basket, I'm trying to go off the top of my head. The center part there, as you get down towards the northern half of Texas, I believe, would be trash. That's a good one right there. So if that happened, and again, it's all dependent on the wind and all that other good stuff, pretty much the red area, of course, and then, well, except for the little white dot where Gil's at, just so I can make fun of him later. The brown area, and then where it says raining ash, the stuff that I looked up before is, how do I say it? So roughly where the panhandle of Texas would that line right there cutting across, I don't know, over towards Louisiana. No, go down, Gil.
Oh, this line here.
Yeah, that line, and just extend that line across would be all the way to the East Coast, would have been where they would have trouble with crops for a year or two or more. And then the more you take it back towards the actual blast zone, or however you want to say it, would be longer and longer.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I did those videos a while ago. I don't remember every single thing. But if I remember right, going through Texas, there is one, maybe two railroad lines that would work, and then all the rest of them were shut off. And then what was it? Interstate 10, I think it is, runs down along
I-10
that
is slow
way.
enough. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would only be like one train access, and then as far as highways go, um, I think there was one. It might be the I-10. I don't remember.
Yeah, I-10 comes right across around here.
But that would be the only way to get back and forth for a very long time.
Yeah. And there was another question there, but as far as the crop production, if California survived and it wasn't quite this bad, and California was all golden, you still have the Central Valley crop production there, so you still have a lot of stuff there. Georgia, Florida oranges, Georgia oranges, peaches and stuff. You still have stuff there. If it didn't get down into Louisiana, if it stayed out of Louisiana, they would still have their crop production. And you still have beef coming out of Texas. I'm not sure what sort of up there in Virginia and West Virginia. I know they have strawberry production up in West Virginia in one area, but whatever they can grow up there that's what they're going to be trying to work and save. I know the maple trees up north here, if they're starting to get ash on them, depending on the time of the year, they're going to be out scrambling to get the ash off the leaves. Now, let me scroll back up to that comment.
Revolver on the Road's got a question.
Revolver on the Road. Mudslides. That's the other problem, depending on where the buildup is, how much ash buildup, and when the rainy season comes, where it rains first.
So even if you were in a zone that got the minimum amount, what was the word earlier? Slurry somebody put over there. I don't remember. They have another technical name for it. I can't remember, but slurry will work because everybody can visualize that. Would jam up like all the storm drains and everything else. Even just the minimum amount would cause just havoc. So if you're in an area that gets even more, just think of all the drainage not working. So when I was reading the stuff, it would clog up, the drain that goes under the road by your house. So that would get clogged up, then it would go everywhere. And then the really screwed up part is when it would dry, it would turn into this hard cementy kind of stuff. And the only way to do it was get out there with a jackhammer or something and jackhammer it all out.
Yeah. And that's one of the things. If the rain starts downstream and works its way up, it has a chance to wash it out. But if it starts at the top of the mountain, and that's where the rainstorm hits first, it's pushing this pile of mud ahead of it. And it's just going to be slow. You just come down, it's going to start plugging everything up as it comes down. That's one of the problems with, not knowing how the weather's going to respond. What are you laughing about, Bruce?
You see, Tibor says it already rains dirt in Ohio. That's what I was laughing about.
Yeah. One of the questions farther back up there was about communications. Communication.
Well, if you don't know ham and you don't know how to build your own antennas, you're tits up.
Yeah, and then even for the ham operators, once you got to the point where it was across, like this one here you got up going all the way across, the interference at the higher levels and everything would cause issues. So basically, if a dude didn't have high-speed gear and wasn't what do they call them there backwoods? A Wilbur?
Extra level.
Yeah, if he wasn't a dude that knows a whole lot, like me, I'd be out of luck except for local stuff, right? And yeah, there's some guys that can bounce it off satellites and all that other cool stuff, but no, I wrote
teach you how to do that. That's not that bad. You only need a 5-watt radio to do that.
Yeah, well, they basically all that in the affected area. So you wouldn't, for a time period, you wouldn't be able to talk from the West Coast anywhere east. Does that make sense? Or east anywhere west. So phone lines, all that other stuff would go out. I mean, I do know there are some government ways that they can still talk to each other. But anyway, underground lines, guys. I'm just messing around. Those would still work, but cell phones, all that, gone, just gone.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that they can do too is you have the Mars operators, which are ham radio operators that work for the military.
Right.
And their rigs are allowed to be much higher powered than even a regular ham has.
Yeah.
Because they can get like from Texas to Europe with their radios. That's how high power they are. But they also have antennas that are half an acre in size to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
and don't touch the antenna when they hit transmit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might get a little bit of a jolt out of that.
Well, it depends on what area you're in and how, because this is one of those $64 questions that has, you have a handful of darts and you're throwing them, and that works. That one doesn't, you don't know until it actually happens. But you will find a lot of hams able to transmit short distances, and then that person that they get to will relay it out farther. Mm-hmm. And the farther you get from it, the better spread you have of the information getting out. And then once it gets into the hands of city, county, and state governments and stuff, then everyone will be trying to pass information on as they're gathering information up. The EOCs are going to be 24/7, tripling in size just to keep up. EOC, Emergency Operations Centers, trying to keep up with the information that does start coming in and getting real information out, trying to figure out, all right, we got one story on this, but we got 10 saying this from different locations. We're going to go with the 10.
I mean, honestly, your world's going to get so small, you're not going to care about that for a moment.
Yeah.
It's going to be on a block basis. How's your block? How's your block next to you? The block one over, the one up. That's all it's going to matter, because all those people are going to have to collect together to basically create their own safe zone.
Yeah, and that drops back into Steve's latest one, a security for a bad day. That little one about you're doing setting up the block and everything, right, setting up your zones and stuff. And that's basically what you're going to have to do, people.
Imagine that. Things go together. No. Huh.
Wow.
I need to do a series of videos for Gil and everybody in the center that will be migrating this way on how to draw straws and who gets to come up and knock on the door.
Well, I'll just send a staff sergeant up to knock on the door.
Oh, that's fine. She can stay. You will have to grovel. Groveling.
Hey, I'm groveling enough. All right, so we've hit the hour mark. So guys, actually, I'm gonna go and drop back to this. Let me pull something up here real quick. Put that over here.
I need to do something with that stuff behind me.
Hey, you're prepping. You got supplies. I see a sleeping bag.
You could actually see that I got stuff. I just ain't organized it yet.
All right, let me grab something here real quick. I should have had this up before.
Okay, wait, this way. I actually have. Where's it at? Ham radios. What else is back there? There's a medical kit. There's cast iron. There's the barber kit. Sleeping bags. Because you put the light stuff on up high. Why? Earthquakes. I'm in California. It'll fall down.
All right. So this, putting it in the chat there, is Steve's channel. And where is Yellowstone?
I don't think it's separate. I think it's under just a tabletop playlist. Yeah.
So tabletops, security for a bad day. So that's the one where he just finished up 10 in that playlist there. Venezuela. Where's tabletops?
Videos.
Yeah, you got a bunch here. Good stuff. California specific videos.
That was mostly.
I guess I need to watch those before I come back.
Those
Nah.
were just bend over, kiss your butt goodbye because everything's going to hell here. And then we started talking about this.
Where is tabletops?
Um,
There it is. Yeah, he's
Where?
got 28 ones in the tabletop
There you go.
full one. Yeah, so tabletop number 1 was EMPs. Number 2 was the Yellowstone Eruption. So tabletop number 2 is the Yellowstone Eruption up to part 6, and then he goes into security and stuff. So that tabletop the tabletop playlist. Throw that one in there. So there's the playlist for the tabletop, folks. That's what you need to go check. We basically did here was a teaser. We covered some information, hopefully got you thinking about it, and Steve's one there for Yellowstone, 14 minutes, 10 minutes, 18 minutes, 14 minutes, 14 minutes, 10 minutes. That's twice. Twice as what we've talked about here. So go check it out. Gain information. Knowledge is power and can save your life. It also make you plan better. And if you plan better, you have a better chance on coming out on top of things. So we're done here for this. I need to switch over here and bring up. So tomorrow, do you have a topic for tomorrow yet, Bruce?
No, not yet. We just
Not
kind of
yet.
wing it, We go on, see what's happening, and go from there.
All right. Tomorrow night after Bruce comes on at 9 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. I'll be on at 10 o'clock with Fighting Out in the Homestead. That's my Camp Patton. That's on this one here, Camp Patton Family Compound channel. It's going to be keep it simple. Simple things can make the difference. You don't have to get complicated and get the newest and latest and greatest high dollar gear when a simple multi-tool will work. You don't need to get that $500 specialty tool with all the left-handed nut threads and everything else on it. That's what's coming up on Friday. Monday Night Chat at 10 o'clock Eastern on Camp Patton Family Compound. We're going to talk about your animals, moving them for different locations and stuff. Some of the procedures you need to take safety steps on so you don't wind up with your goats running around the city or your horses running wild down the freeway. So that's what's coming up there.
For something, Gil?
Huh?
Was that a euphemism for something there, Gil? Your goats running in the city? What?
We just had
that could be Washington, D.C. But yeah, and so that's what's coming up here for the next couple of days. Tuesday is going to on GrayManPrepping. We're going to talk about medications. What ones you should be stocking and which ones you should not be stocking or storing, whatever you want to call it. So anyways, thank you all for coming out. Hopefully you learned something. You'll also figure out that you got some great guys here with information. You want to know computers, radio, and stuff. Bruce is the guy. You want common sense. Steve's the guy.
The Marine is the common sense? Come on now. Was that your IQ again there, Marine? See, it's his IQ.
Well, it's like he says. When he says something, he's not alluding to it. He's actually, It's like I like his stuff. It's like stop with the freaking out BS of running around crazy with your head cut off. Stop, think, observe, and act. All right, folks. Thank you for coming by, and we will catch you on somebody's video or live